So on April 23rd of this year, Porter Robinson released his second album, Nurture, and this was released like 7 years, I think, after his last album. His debut album, Worlds, released in 2014 on August 12th, so I will cover that on its birthday, because why not? So yeah, the album hits its 3-month anniversary as of tomorrow, and I want to do a review on it because I like it a lot. I really don't have much to say about this album other than I really, really enjoy it, and that I strongly recommend you check it out. Onwards to the reviews. So with the opening track, Lifelike, it has a very kind of intro credits or introductory scene kind of vibe from either a video game or a movie, and it's like honestly quite beautiful. It sounds like something that you could hear in like Breath of the Wild, and it wouldn't feel out of place. It's such a interesting and kind of like a hook to the album for me. When I first heard this, after, like, whatever, when I first heard this, I really enjoyed it, and I was interested to see what the sound of the album would be like from this point on, and I think it's a really good intro. I'm not going to be scoring songs in this review because that feels unfair, because they're all like really good. So they're all going to be like 8s, 9s, and 10s, so it doesn't matter. But yeah, Lifelike, the intro, is overall very solid and a really cool introduction. For the second song is Look at the Sky. Look at the Sky. I just want to say that this one is like a really inspiring, feel-good song, which introduces a vibe that like a little like a vocal kind of, I want to call it a gimmick, but it's not really a gimmick, that Porter uses throughout this album, and it's that he has two layers of vocals. One layer of his like original vocals processed for the song, of course, but has another layer of the song of vocals for the song that has been put into a way that it's supposed to like sound like a female, more a feminine voice, and in a way it feels kind of like a duet between Porter and himself, and it feels really weird at first. Like the vocals are a little odd, I guess. Like I found my first impression to them to be it was all right, but after a while I got really into the kind of style he used here for the vocals, and I really enjoy the lyrics themselves. Like I said, they're really inspiring and catchy, and this song is 5 minutes long, and that is not a bad thing. Normally I would complain, oh, this song's too long. This song isn't long enough, honestly. I could listen to this on loop for hours. I'd probably get sick of it, but it's like really good and really enjoyable, and is probably my favorite of the album. I think it's just... Also, the music video is really good, like, it's well made, and I don't know what else to say about Look at the Sky. It's just really enjoyable, and it puts out a theme for the album, kind of. At track number 3 is Get Your Wish. This song released in January of 2020 as a single, and it's hard to believe that before this, Porter Robinson hadn't done anything under this alias since 2016. That's wild. But it's just, Get Your Wish is like Look at the Sky, but instead of like having that duet kind of vibe with like Porter's original vocals and his more feminine sounding vocal, like altered vocals, we just have the more feminine sounding ones, and it still works like really well. I really enjoy it. There's not like that lower part to the vocals, which gives them, I don't know, a little more feeling. I don't know. But I still really enjoy it. Really solid vocals, and the music video is probably one of my favorite music videos ever. It's just got a really nice idea behind it, and I can't show the music videos or play any of the music. There's probably copyright on this, and even if there isn't, I'm too lazy to play it, so I don't care. I really enjoy this song, and it's probably my second favorite of the album. It's just another really kind of feel good song that I really enjoyed. Dan's Demand, she did a really interesting take on this song with a remix. That's on SoundCloud. I'm gonna link that too because it's good. But yeah, that's about it for Get Your Wish. On to number 4 is Wind Tempos. This one's like sounds like a glitching video game at parts, and I think that's really cool actually. It really sounds like a glitching video game's soundtrack. And it's just super interesting. This is my only complaint with this is it's 6 minutes long. I wish it was maybe dulled down to 5, but it's really actually a really kind of cool, laid back, almost interlude song. And it's just got like really beautiful piano at this at the 3 minute mark. It's just like really interesting, and it's definitely a song that I would skip if I was low on time and listening to this album, but it is a really, really cool one. Not the most unique thing ever, but the ideas here are really interesting. At number 5 is Musician. Musician is the 5th track. This was my first listening to this song from this album. I remember listening to it back in March, and I remember enjoying it a lot. This was really quite simple yet effective. Like, there's not too much going on in the background, and it's fairly repetitive at parts in terms of the background music, but the vocals keep your attention, and I think that's all that needs to be done here. You don't need to have the most complex background music ever. You just need to keep the listener's attention for the whole song. And this does a good job at it. It's really catchy. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that. Look in the Sky and Get Your Wish are super catchy. I have Look in the Sky playing in my head 24/7. Musician is just... It's got like the feminine vocals here. There's not much of the lower parts either. And I don't mind that. I think it's honestly just a really fun, enjoyable song. And yeah, the music video is incredibly well animated. Definitely check it out. It's really good looking while having a very simple art style. And number 6 is Do, Re, Mi, Fa, Sol, La, Ti, Do, whatever. That whole thing that they do to train your voice or whatever. This is a really laid back guitar song, and I think this is the first song on the album to implement the mostly guitar focus. There was a bit of guitar in Look at the Sky, but this is it really it's just got really solid vocals. I wouldn't say they're not near the best on the album, in my opinion. I like the vocals themselves, but the lyrics are not the best. It's just a really laid back, simple, and fun song, and I think that's really all it needs to be. It is, again, one I would probably skip if I was listening to this album short on time, but if you have tons of time, don't skip a single song on this album. It is really good. At track number 7 is Mother. Mother is really just kind of forgettable, but overall beautiful and fits well with the album and its whole feel-good kind of vibe. I think it's really just the reason it feels so forgettable for me is the vocals. They're not super catchy, but they're really enjoyable. But it just fits so well with the other songs that I can hardly remember it from the others. But I think that's a good thing, actually. I think albums should have a direction that they go for. Like with the Hall album, I felt that it really was all over the place, and instead of an album, felt more like a compilation by one artist. And really, I did not enjoy it a ton. I thought there were some good songs on it, but this album, everything feels like it belongs on here, and I think that really, really matters, because every time I listen to an album, I hear at least one or two songs that feel like they do not belong on the album, and that's not a good thing, no. Track number 8 is Dulcite. Now, I just want to take some time to mention a really good quote I saw in the YouTube comments, and that someone else said, and it really captures the essence of this song really well. This song feels kind of like it progresses, like at the beginning it's really stuttering, and the person thought it represented writer's block, and throughout the song it becomes more like a real song, and over time just transcends into something beautiful. At like the 2 minute mark and onwards, it's a really beautiful song. And I think that's really quite an interesting take, and I think that's probably what Porter went for here. He struggled with a lot of creative frustration during his time trying to make this, and I think, yeah, that person in the comments is probably right that this kind of represents writer's block. I think overall it's actually a really interesting song and definitely a cool one. It feels kind of weird and offbeat at the beginning, but that's the point. It's supposed to feel odd. And like over time it morphs and progresses into something quite beautiful, and it feels almost like an interlude, but it's super cool, and I would definitely recommend listening to it. Okay, the track number 9 is Sweet Time. This one is also pretty kind of forgettable, but it's got like, it's just a really wholesome, cool kind of, it still has the cool duet thing with Porter doing vocals with himself, and it's overall a very chill, laid-back song that I think you can just enjoy whenever you want to relax or something. I think it's a very fun, wholesome, and enjoyable experience. Although not the most memorable on the album, not even close. The others outshine it. That's the only reason I can't remember every song on this album, because some of the others just absolutely, like, pop out. But yeah, Sweet Time is a very solid song. I would say definitely one of the better ones in this later half. I feel this later half of the album is slightly worse, but that does not mean anything. They're still really good. Yeah. At number 10 is Mirror. A lot of people seem to like this one a lot. I think it's alright. Not the best of the album. No, not even close. But really an enjoyable, chill song, and it has the cool duet thingy again with Porter and his own vocals. It's just really cool, and the vocals here are some of the best on the album, I will say that. I like the lyrics a lot, and I think it's just overall a really solid one. I can see why a lot of people like it, but I like others more. At number 11 is Something Comforting. This one has a lot of energy to it and a lot of, I don't know. I don't really remember this one a ton. I just remember it being an energetic, fun song. And it's got a cool switch at like 340 where it kind of switches between the feminine vocals and the male vocals, almost like the song's kind of glitching in a way, and it's really cool in my opinion. It's really well done, and I think this is just a really interesting vocal style presented throughout the whole album. And I think, honestly, because of it alone is worth checking out. I would think it's definitely one of the highlights of the album, the vocals throughout the songs. At number 12 is Blossom. This one is really relaxing, and it's just got nice guitar. It's really wholesome, simple song. It's very simple. It's really just vocals and the guitar, I think. I don't think there's any drums or any other instruments in here. And yeah, like simple, like more is less. Wait. No, less is more, that's the saying. Less is more. And I think that really applies to this song. It doesn't overwhelm you at all. Like some of the songs here on this album, I can't even hear everything that's going on. I feel like there's a lot of things going on that I can't hear because I'm not that good at listening to this kind of music and like deciphering everything going on. But I would say that Blossom is definitely one of my favorites on the album. It is just really relaxing and enjoyable, and just a very fun, wholesome, and simple song. If you're into that stuff, you will probably find this to be your favorite. And I think this is really the highlight of the second half of the album. Blossom is probably my favorite song on the second half. Track number 13 is Unfold. This is the only collaboration on the entire album, which honestly I don't mind. I really liked how this was. It's a solo project. There's not like that many other vocalists. It's all just Porter, and I really like that. I think it's really good. The collaborator here is Totally Enormous Extinct Dinosaurs. Never heard of them, honestly, but I can hear their vocals in this, and it's pretty good, I will say. I do prefer Porter's vocals a little bit more, but it's kind of still got like the duet vibe with Totally Enormous Extinct Dinosaurs, more masculine vocals going on with Porter's more edited feminine vocals here. And I think it really just works really well together. It's very big. It feels like a very big song. Like the drop part, the chorus, whatever you want to call it. But it's like, and the drums are really energetic. And it's just solid. It's just solid. I really don't have much else to say. It's really good. Like, it doesn't do anything wrong, but it's not it doesn't do anything wrong for me, but it doesn't do a lot of stuff right for me. This is probably one of my least favorite of the album, but it's still really good. Like, there's nothing bad here, and I think that's what matters. You don't want to make the perfect album, you just want to make one that's not bad. Honestly, that's my personal thoughts on making things. Like, if I'm making a YouTube video, I don't want it to be bad, obviously, but I don't want it to be perfect. I'm not like the Needle Drop. I'm not a total music nerd. I don't overanalyze everything. But I just want to make a good review, and that's what matters. And this album really was a really good album, in my personal opinion. A lot of the songs here are really enjoyable. So, if you took each song separately and had me listen to them all separately on all different days, I would say, okay, these are alright. But all together, the album works so well together. At number 13 is Trying to Feel Alive. This one feels a lot like credits to a video game or movie, and in a way is like the credits to the album, and I really enjoy it. For like the first 2 minutes, it's entirely instrumental, and yeah, it gives off this like ending of a journey kind of vibe, and I really like it. It's a really interesting end to the album, and around like the 2 minutes 30 seconds mark, it brings in Porter's vocals, and it's just good. It really does feel like an ending to the album, and I think that's a good thing. When albums should like leave off on like this really big note, I'm not a fan of that. I really like it when albums slow it down nearing the end of the album to give like a ending to it, I guess. Like with the Hall album, I'm going to talk about it again. It ended on the same note it started on. Like, it's just the same thing throughout the album, but different, if you understand that, I guess. This one really feels a lot like it has a beginning, middle, and end to the album, and I really enjoy it overall. This is probably my album of the year, unless, like, something absolutely perfect releases. This is my album of the year. And, yeah, it's definitely better than his previous album, Worlds. I can hardly listen to half that album. It's just kind of boring for me, personally. I like the approach he went with here. I know some people are mad like that it's more of a poppy album, and I don't mind at all. I really enjoyed, and I think it's really Porter's best work. And I can just say that if you don't listen to this album right after this video, I will personally come to your house and slap you. I'll do it. I will do it. Listen to this album. If not, if you don't have time to listen to the full album, just listen, look at this guy, and get your wish. It's worth it. It's worth your time. Yeah, don't have much else to say really. Really good album. I'm just gonna talk about the length for a bit. It's 58 minutes and well, it's essentially 59 minutes, and I feel like it does feel a little too long at times. Like once you're at that point in like Sweet Time, you're like, oh wow, this album still has 5 more tracks to go, and they're all like 4+ minutes. And the length does not bother me. If you're someone who likes shorter, sweeter albums or more long experiences, like if you want like a 30-song album, each song being 3 minutes long, like that's not an album, that's a compilation. Whatever. 30-song album. I'm gonna have to look for one of those just so I can listen to it. But yeah, this is a really solid album overall. I don't have a problem with any of the lengths of the songs. Oftentimes when I'm listening to an album, I have a problem with the length. I feel like I'm complaining about lengths while making this video unnecessarily longer, which is really dumb. I hate doing this, but I always end up doing it accidentally. I always end up having something else to talk about before I end off the video, and I'm sorry for that. Goodbye. Have a good day, and sleep well tonight. I don't know. Yeah, the album turns 3 months old tomorrow, so be very cool if you listen to it tomorrow, I guess. Bye-bye.